Welcome to Crew Logs, a series of personal recordings, field notes, and psychological breakdowns from humans scattered across the galaxy. Some are stationed on alien ships. Some are stranded on distant moons. Some just haven't slept in 3 rotations and need to scream into a void. One thing's for sure, humans may not be the weirdest species out here, but they're definitely the loudest. New logs drop every Sunday. Subscribe, smash that bell, and let's find out just how far from Earth you can go before things start talking back. Crew log, UEMC file number 7-Bravo27, Gunnery Sergeant Max Halperin, Coil Cannon Division, Assigned Vessel, XSS Kazintval, Flimbanu Joint Command Warship, Mission File, classified obviously. Not that anyone told me what it is. I wasn't supposed to be here, that's not paranoia. I checked the orders, 4 times. I cross-verified with 3 databases. My assignment was the UES Far site, you know, the one with actual humans on it. But somehow my file ended up stapled to this diplomatic joint operation with the Flimbanu, and I guess nobody wanted to question it because shared operations promote interspecies understanding and blah blah political crap. Let me just say this. If this is understanding, I'd rather be misunderstood. Joint operation, my ass. So yeah. I'm the only human on a Flimbanu dreadnought the size of a mining colony. There are over 90,000 crew aboard. None of them breathe my levels of oxygen. I've got a bunk sealed like a fish tank and this oxygen tank on my belt for when I feel dizzy during my day shifts, which is about every minute. I suck those tanks dry like there was no tomorrow. And my translator chip that doesn't know if it's supposed to be rendering polite greetings or the start of mating season. Female crew members now start giggling every time I enter a room. First impression, they stink. Not like bad hygiene stink, no, it's deliberate. The Flimbanu communicate partly through complex vocalizations and partly through this damn pheromone cloud thing. It's like being hosed with invisible soup every time someone walks past you. Apparently it's subtle to them, like emotional nuance. To me, it's like walking next to a dog that went swimming in a garlic soup and still has wet fur. And speaking of dogs, their standard greeting involves getting real close, like uncomfortably close. I had one officer lean in and just inhale, slowly, near my armpit. I nearly punched him out of instinct. It's apparently the equivalent of a handshake mixed with a personality test. I don't blame them. But I've started wearing high-scent synthetic soap just to mess with their readings. I like to imagine the confusion. Why does the human smell like rage and cinnamon? Anyway, food's a nightmare. The the nutritional communion chamber, has exactly 1 protein bar I can safely eat, and that has the consistency of a book cover. Everything else is certified non-sentient, which sounds good in theory, until you realize that Flimbanu have very strict and unique views on sentience, and their safe food is nearly completely made up of things like rocks. They have this mineral paste they spread on flatbread made from pressed plankton cellulose. One crewman scolded me for having a salad. He turned pale, well, paler than usual, and started shaking when he saw the leaves I stuffed into my mouth and happily chewed. Apparently, some of the plant species we eat have been reclassified in Flimbanu culture as emotionally sensitive beings. I think I traumatized him by crunching a crouton. They asked me to take a sensitivity course. I told them if they ever classify coffee beans as sentient, I will diplomatically initiate this ship's self-destruct sequence with a teaspoon and my bare hands. They didn't laugh, mostly because their species lacks that muscle reflex. But still, Anyway, day 1, let's call it orientation, I try to find my assigned gunnery station and accidentally walk into what I thought was a mess hall. Turns out it's some kind of ritual grooming chamber. 4 Flimbanu are just lining up to have their shoulder glands polished. One of them lifts his foot and sprays a polite mist in my direction. I think that's like a bow or a handshake. I said, "Nice to meet you," then backed out real slow. Took me 2 days to get that smell off my uniform. They don't eat with their mouths, not exactly. They absorb nutrition through these tiny capillary ridges in their arms. It's like watching someone dip a loofah in soup and then moan about the texture. I brought a field ration pack on day 3, and that almost started a diplomatic incident. Not because of the meat, because of the lettuce. Apparently I do not understand what emotional intelligence means. It is not like full sapience, but empathy, awareness, the kind of thing you should sing to before harvesting or apologize to while chewing. I opened a pouch with rehydrated spinach, and this one officer shrieked. Full body ripple, eye stalk stiff, panic pheromones so thick the hallway lights dimmed. They had to quarantine the salad. I wish I was joking. So now I mostly eat in private next to a carbon scrubber. You might be wondering what my actual job is. That makes 2 of us. My orders just say Joint Operations Liaison, Flimbanu Command Ship, XSS Kazintval. No explanation, no mission brief, not even a name for the operation. I think my file got tossed in the wrong folder and everyone's too embarrassed to admit it. I've seen a janitor get more mission intel than me. But fine, I'm a Marine. I adapt, I overcome. I keep my head down and my coil cannon prepped. Except even that has problems. The Flimbanu use these weird plasma organelles for targeting. They're like if a railgun and a jellyfish had a baby. I tried plugging in a standard UEMC targeting interface, and the ship made a noise I can only describe as offended. The targeting array refused to power up for 3 hours, and then someone sprayed it with calming mist and sang to it. I had to recalibrate everything manually, and now I'm not allowed to poke the sacred consoles without supervision. But hey, at least the crew's starting to accept me. By which I mean they've stopped spraying me with suspicion pheromones and started spraying me with what I think is affection pheromone, but honestly, might just be tolerated anomaly. It smells like warm, wet cardboard. Oh, and they've got this tradition. After a successful tactical drill, they all press foreheads and share a memory spore. Yeah, memory spore. I don't know what that means because every time they offer me one, my translator panics and flashes error 672. Cultural violation imminent. So I bow and nod and pretend my respiratory system isn't trying to file for reassignment. I'd say things finally calmed down, but no. They just sort of settled into a steady background buzz of low-level terror, like when you know your neighbor owns a giant tarantula and they swear it's in its tank, but the lid's off and no one's seen it in 2 days. Every meal is a gamble, every hallway conversation is a diplomatic incident, and I still don't know what the hell this joint operation even is. I shoot the big gun when they point at things. That's the job. Yesterday I found a crew memo with my name on it. It had a Flimbanu commendation glyph I couldn't read, and a note in Terran Standard that said, "Human unit is very loud, but useful." Honestly, that might be the nicest thing anyone said to me since I got here. We're en route to another skirmish zone now. The Flimbanu call it a negotiation cluster. I asked what that meant, and one of them smiled, a weird, vertical jaw click smile, and said, "We open the dialogue with a barrage." Yep. Sounds about right. Advocate for sensibility towards emotionally stressed out salad, but start their diplomacy with vaporizing 5,000 crew right after meeting the other ship. So here I am, recording this log before I strap into the coil cannon turret and contribute to interstellar diplomacy. They still won't let me have hot sauce, or protein, or salad, but I must say this again in all earnesty. If they ever try to tell me that coffee beans are sentient, I swear to whatever ancient void gods are out there, I will very diplomatically blow this entire ship into espresso-flavored space dust. Crew log, out. And maybe reassign me to a human ship? Please? Maybe? That's it for this week's Crew Log. If you enjoyed the transmission, hit like, subscribe, and slap that little bell like it owes you credits. New logs drop every Sunday. Some funny, some freaky, all human. Want to help us keep broadcasting across the stars? Support the channel on Patreon and fuel the madness directly. Until next time, take care humans. Fuck yeah.